help them win this competition. Anne-Marie, very loud. Certainly the craziest person on the team.
Oh my God, I put peas in the risotto. Shit, I messed up the risotto.
Come on! Hannah.
What a spunky personality.
Flavor is absolutely delicious.
I'm a fart in a skillet. I'm everywhere.
Amber, the least experienced of the team.
I have never sweated like that in my life.
Amber, why the scallops in?
They went in too soon, Chef.
Get them out!
Amanda,
This punishment on a scale of 1 to 10 sucks.
she's a go-getter.
Come on, Amanda, bring it home.
Yes, Chef.
Lulu,
Yes, Chef.
the former soccer player.
You will strip cook beautifully.
Thank you, Chef.
Don't dare go down.
She's used to competitions.
I'm gonna nail it.
Brittany, what a personality.
Woo, go red.
Getting a little bit of wacky vibes. Megan,
Let's go.
very poker face.
It's not an offense. You can smile from time to time.
I have this condition called RBF.
Rusty face, did you just get called that on that?
Magali, the youngest on the season.
I'm gonna try to think outside the box.
When was the last time you saw a grilled soft-shell crab?
Never.
Does that look appetizing to you?
Wit,
It's time to get it done.
I think she'll certainly lead the team.
I'm going to continue to prove that I'm a strong competitor. I am confident.
Ladies! Girl power!
I know it's hard as a creative sometimes to talk about yourself and talk about what you do. And I hope you don't mind. It's actually my photo from Hell's Kitchen in Vegas because we do love to go to Las Vegas and eat. And I know it's not the red team. I'm sorry.
I know you are representing the blue. Ooh.
No, I'm not. I'm representing the red. I mean, my shirt has some red in it, right? And
I see it. You got the HK. Yeah,
Yeah,
you killed it.
I actually got this custom made for my husband for Christmas one year.
And now you wear it.
I wear it, yeah. So we're huge fans of the show. We've been fans for quite a while, and we've tried a lot of Gordon's restaurants, and I'm a huge foodie, so I just love anything.
Same.
I just love food, and so my dad was a cook. So when my dad actually was the one that brought me on to Hell's Kitchen, and I'm like, now I know why you did that, Dad. So thank you. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I have Brittany here, Brittany Fanning. She is a Hell's Kitchen contestant currently on season 23. Woo, woo, woo.
23.
Season 23. How are things going so far for you? And tell us, where are you in your food journey? Can you let us know, how did you get started? What was your inspiration? Where did Brittany get her start?
Wow. It's a very, very loaded question. I've tried to figure out my 15-second elevator pitch of my life story for many years, and I can't figure it out yet, but I'll try to summarize a little bit. As far as food goes, I'm kind of I don't know, culturally a hippie style food person. Like, I just really am a massive believer in food culture. Like, I love the nostalgia. I love how food connects people. I am through and through a foodie before that word was even invented, before I even knew what words were, probably. I just was, from a very young age, like, my mom said she always knew that I just loved food. So my love of my cooking really came from this just really weird relationship and understanding of food. And my mom used to always make fun of me when I was a kid and say that, like, when I ate, I made love to my food. Like, I was so, like, into it. You know what I mean? And so I think my cooking ability just came natural because I understood food. And I think sometimes it works backwards for other people, right? They learn to understand it because they learn to cook. Me, I understood it, and I had a special weird connection with food. And, like, when I was a kid, I'm not to age myself, but online it says 41, girl. I am not 41. I am 37. Let's clear the air.
Same age as me then, so awesome.
Oh, good. So back, in our day, we can say that now, back in, parents weren't making their kids baby food, organic food from scratch. Everyone was buying it from the little can, the pop top, the glass, the little jars.
Yeah.
And my mom, from a very young age, I refused to eat baby food. So my mom had to make me food from a young age. And so we've always joked that I've had a palate since birth. I came out of the womb being like, it's wrong. I'm kidding. But, like, I came out of the, I just was always like that. and it's developed over time, really. And you can ask me specific questions, but obviously, but um, yeah, it's wow. My mom went back to school, and I think you heard on this last episode, a little bit of that story.
Yeah, just a little bit. And to clarify for everyone, because in the intro of how this season, in this season,
Am I allowed to eat on this podcast?
absolutely, why not? It's a food show. Absolutely, please do.
If everybody, I didn't make it though. I'm not going to tell you where it's from because I try not to support too many corporate chains.
That's okay. A lot of people do that. And I've had people bring me coffee from local coffee places and I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm a tea drinker. I love to drink tea. So I'm cool with all of that. And
What's your favorite tea?
green tea. I have this Chinese green tea that my dad got me to drink. It's an herbal green tea, and it makes me feel good every day when I drink it. So, do you like to drink tea too? Are you huge on tea?
I've been wanting to get more into like tea time,
Yeah.
and I would love to like throw like tea parties. And there's this etiquette girl that's on Netflix. Have you watched her video, her show?
No, I'm terrible at watching TV, to be honest.
Yeah, you only watch Hell's Kitchen. I like that. Dedicated to the cause. I
No,
like
there's
it,
some
girl.
other shows, like Shark Tank, but yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well, I'm an entrepreneur through and through. We can start. But what I was going to say is I've always been into tea, but that show made me really want to like be more proper, more proper and have the perfect little combos. But yeah, I do love a good tea. I have my own little tea set. I like kind of herbal hibiscus style teas, things that are a little bit tart, but still like really full body.
Yeah. The teas that are more calming and help you fall asleep, those types of teas. I totally.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like those teas too. They're kind of refreshing. I've had one strong tea. I was at I love to eat sushi a ton. That's one of my favorite things. And I think I had jasmine tea once, and it was really strong jasmine tea. I swear I never had jasmine tea again. Japanese tea. There you go.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about a specific moment that actually sparked. Do you have like a favorite recipe of yours that you could cook? Oh, like something over and over that you've ingrained in your memory that I can relive. Maybe it was from a family member or a friend, or you just kind of accidentally, found this recipe. And can you share a moment like that in your cooking
I
career?
have several. Yeah, I mean, I think most chefs it would be very difficult because there's lots. For me, I have a few of those from childhood. I also have these weird memories of things that I've wanted to recreate from my childhood, but I haven't been able to figure them out. And that I think is actually more unique because there are several things that I've made in my life that were inspired by just this hint of a memory of a taste to just transport me back to that memory.
Right.
But then there's also things that I taught myself that, like my pasta on the first episode of the show, that's a dish I've been making for 23 years. Like I said, it gets all the men to date me, so that one's near and dear to my heart. I wasn't lying. I wish I was lying. That is the literal truth. Every guy at home that's dated me before is like, yep, well, it was good. She wasn't worth it, but it was good. I'm kidding. But I think another really weird one, well, not weird. Thanksgiving's coming up. And actually, the most fitting thing for me to talk about is my mom. Actually, she was never a great cook. Sorry, Mom. She just had a lot of other things she was doing. She could be really good at it, of course. She makes really good meals. And one of the meals that she makes just perfect, in my opinion, perfect, is Thanksgiving. And she has a stuffing recipe from my late stepdad who passed away several years ago now. But from his mom from like the 20s. And it's this stuffing recipe that's just like insanely good. I mean, and it is the simplest, most delicious thing. And so that Thanksgiving, I think overall was really where it all began, because I wanted to start recreating these recipes. Like I would go and I would start to recreate different cranberry sauces and simple things. But I think if you can do a very simple thing very well, then that's really, everyone says, oh, what defines a good chef is they have a clear focus and a clear vision. And I'm not disagreeing with that, but I actually think instincts and connection to food, and being able to make something taste simple, and bring out the natural flavors in something is actually a real skill. And I think that's where I differ myself from other chefs in the field.
Absolutely. You mentioned about food and relationships because you are 100% right. The things that I've eaten can be sometimes really flavorful, sometimes can be really bland tasting. I've kind of eaten a variety from different restaurants, and sometimes I haven't found like the magic number of what is that flavor that I like, because we're from the Caribbean. So in the Caribbean, we have different vibrant dishes. So like seafood, I love a lot of seafood, and I'll eat shrimp and fish and the healthier stuff. But there's certain fruits that I can't eat because it's tangy, or really testing your taste buds, right? So what's been kind of a fruit or what's been a food that you haven't had a knack for?
Great relationship with?
Yeah, what is it? What's one you haven't had a great relationship with?
I have a few food, not to take over your questions, but that's a good way to ask.
Oh, I actually like it.
Yeah. Well, I have a very toxic relationship with olives.
Too, I hate them.
I can't stand an olive, but I think the way that I've jumped over the hurdle with olives, which is what I suggest to people to do, I think sometimes we think about things as solitary things, like olive, kiwi, avocado. Even on a cheese board, we look at things like, oh, it's a blue cheese, it's stinky, or we look at, a tapenade or whatever it is. But the way that I kind of got past my relationship with olives is using them as just a salt element in a flavoring of a dish. And when I switched my brain to thinking, like, for instance, instead of just using table salt for dishes, I have a tendency of using very salty things to give depth of flavor without just being the chef that salt bays everything, and olives and anchovies are some of my nemesis of the food world. And I use them now in other ways to, still owe homage to these wonderful things that were gifted to us. But yeah, olives for sure. And then menudo. But you know what? I'm not using menudo for anything. I don't like menudo. Menudo, right?
What is menudo?
I don't know, like stomach or something? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll eat anything. I've eaten rattlesnake. I'll eat brains. I'll eat all the weird stuff. But I don't. Menudo is like a Mexican dish. It's like a.
Oh yeah. Is it like a tapas?
It's intestines. Oh, it's intestines.
Oh, intestines. Okay. All
Right, yeah, it looks like lasagna noodles that curdled too fast.
Ah, gotcha. When you said menudo, I was actually thinking the band. I don't know if you remember the band. Sorry. Well, we'll edit that out.
Or Telemundo. I'm kidding. We can edit that out too. That's funny though.
Can you actually clarify for us? Because in the introduction of this season, I heard that you were from Alaska. So I was kind of confused when I was researching it. You're actually from Dallas, Texas, right? That is your home originally?
Okay, home is a stretch too. That's another long story, but at this age, I don't know where am I from? So I was living in Alaska, and that's where I was a chef at. So that's why they said from Alaska, because that's where I was living at the time I was casted. But I'm from Florida originally. Wow. Born and raised, and then I went to college in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm from like a small town called Eustis, and represent all the Eustians out there. They don't call us that, by the way. They call it useless, really. But but here I am with you. So we made it, Eustis. We made it. We did it. And so I'm from Eustis, Florida. I moved to Jacksonville for college. I did not go to culinary school. And then after college, I moved to LA. and I lived there 8 years.
Wow.
And then I lived in New York City. Well, I lived in Hoboken, New Jersey, but I worked at 49th and Broadway. And then lived there 3 years, then Dallas, and then Alaska, and then now back to Dallas.
Awesome. Dallas is where everything is huge in Dallas. Talking about
Yeah.
ribs down there in Dallas. I love the ribs down there. And there's
Well,
so
good barbecue.
yes, good barbecue joints. And I actually love going to New York City. That's one of my favorite places.
I'm
Just
going today.
are you? Oh, fun. Okay, don't give away, don't give away. Because I love the food trucks, and that's something I don't have here in Minneapolis is we have some food trucks, but New York is just a plethora of like pizza and Italian eateries
Yeah.
and so many. I could go on and on about New York, but thank you so much for clarifying that. And I think Alaska is so cool because I've never been to Alaska. Um, do most of the places in Alaska, do you have to get there by boat or what is it like in Alaska?
So I could talk about Alaska for days. Sorry, I'm chewing.
That's okay, good.
Alaska is such a special place, very near and dear to my heart for many reasons. And I backpacked the Iditarod back in 2014, 38 miles of it, not the whole thing. I'm not psychotic, but 38 miles of the Iditarod. And if you know what that is, that's like where the dogs, the famous dog races are.
Yeah, dog sledding. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I fell in love with Alaska back then. And I've always wanted to open a restaurant on what's called the Homer Spit, which is this peninsula that's only open like 4 months out of the year. And one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life is there when I visited. And it was this pizza. And it was unreal. To this day, even living in New York City, I haven't had a better slice. It's that good. And I fell in love. And so Alaska, when I got to move, Fairbanks is much different than Homer. Fairbanks is up north. So you don't think any boats, it's very inland. But it's really cool because people really celebrate all of the different solstices. So like
Wow.
summer solstice is like a real thing. And culturally, people are on their phones all day long. You can go to dinner and not see people on their phones.
Sign me up.
Sign me. Meanwhile, I'm like that girl, right now. But but this is for research. But it's incredible now. Where I worked was like the movie. Have you seen the movie The Menu?
Yeah, that's with Ralph Fiennes, right?
Yeah, so good. The scary thriller cooking movie.
Yeah.
Best movie of our time, food movie. So good. But that's exactly the kind of restaurant I was working at that was opening. You had to take a boat to go eat there. And it was supposed to be like this Michelin star restaurant. I got the gig. I was so excited. I developed the whole menu. I helped start things from the ground up. And then they just were respectfully the worst people I've ever worked for in my life. And this Hell's Kitchen opportunity knocked on my door. And I took that. And then here I am. But yeah, so Alaska is amazing. And nature, beauty, really great food, expensive. Just peaceful. You can really hear your own thoughts. And sometimes I thought that would be scary. But now it's what I really desire to be in a space like that again.
I love hearing that. And because we live in such a noisy world with so many notifications and the ping, 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 pings going kind of everywhere on our phones, right? And but I totally understand like silence and tranquility and being your self-care first. Self-care, of course, is really important to anything that you do. And absolutely congratulations on being on this season. And
thank you.
Do you have what advice can you give to any aspiring chefs out there that maybe want to be in your shoes someday or something that you can uplift them? Like if they're going through a hard time right now, because I know being in food can be restaurants or working in restaurants can kind of be, overwhelming sometimes. And I've actually worked in some restaurants myself, and mostly catering and I love back ends type stuff, but
yeah.
can be overwhelming. So do you have any advice for aspiring chefs out there?
My best advice I can give you is follow your own path. You know, don't feel like you have to fit a mold, because that's really, if you look at the most successful chefs in the world, or anyone successful in their profession, they did it their own way. You know, everyone's got their own pathway in. And I think we're told you have to go to culinary school, or you got to work on the line for 20 years, or you got to start and work your way up. Everyone's got their own journey. Mine's much different from the rest of everyone else's. And, you know, follow, it sounds cheesy as, can I cuss? This sounds cheesy as fuck, but like, you know, follow your dreams. Like today is not always promised, either is tomorrow. And I think I could give all the advice in the world, but I think the most important advice is just to do it. If you want something, do whatever you have to do to do it, and don't let other people discourage you along the way. And also, fuck the haters. I'm kidding. You can edit that out. But honestly, also don't ask advice of people that don't understand. Something that no one really told me early on is like, I can't go, for instance, to a chef that worked their way up, went to culinary school. I can't really go to them and say, hey, what should I do? Because it doesn't mean I can't get some good insight from them. But a lot of times we go to our parents or our friends and they're like, oh, that seems risky. And then it discourages us. Or we hear their story. So don't compare yourself to anyone. Focus on your gifts, what you love to do, and the rest will come. And also try to have a little bit of a good personality and be nice. Because even though Chef Ramsay became famous, that shtick is old for everyone else. You know, and what really separates me, I'll be honest, is my personality. I can cook very good, but at the end of the day, especially if you're in a world where you're in like the private chef world, or you want to open your own business, you are the business. So your personality is what's going to get people in. It's not going to be your food. I hate to break it to everybody. Spoiler alert. What made me who I am is my drive and my personality. And then I happen to be a really good cook.
And I love that. And I see that energy in you. And that's what made me want to reach out to you. And I was like, oh, reach out to Brittany, because I just felt like an energy, and like, I don't see that very often, that genuine kind of personality. And because yeah, everybody has their own path, and to get to somewhere, you really have to be willing to work at it and keep the consistency and keep going. And I really love the message, because we do need a bit of kindness, absolutely, everywhere.
Well, and I think that like people think, you know, another thing that annoys me, we were talking about phones, another thing that freaking annoys me is like, you have to have your phone for everything now. Like, oh, how good of a chef you are matters how many followers you have, blah, blah, blah. And I want to say that, like, that's sure, it does matter. And, you know, we all get caught up in it a little bit. But I had 6 followers, 6 on my new Instagram when I got reached out to from Hell's Kitchen to be on the show.
Wow.
I had 2 videos I had posted. I had just started it post-divorce, and I got reached out to and I went on the show. So don't let all this stuff that's why I'm saying, like, I think we have a dream, and then we're like, we get gung-ho about it, and then we start researching it and we start talking about it, and then we don't get that same energy back that we feel. And then we have a tendency to just give up. So I think my last like thing that kind of sparked this, sorry, but like, I think the other thing that we can't do is stall. We just have to, we can't let all the other noise keep us from doing it, because it's just gonna make it impossible to get it done, you know?
And I was going to ask you, where can we find you all online? Because I'd love all my followers. Go follow Brittany, help her boost her following a little bit. I don't know, do you have this Instagram right now, or do you have TikTok? Where?
Yeah. So I'm more than just a chef. So I've got different pages for different things, but I have a TikTok. I'm a retired amateur Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu athlete. So my TikTok is Muay Thai Brit, really funny, cool, come train with me videos. Kia. Kidding. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at Brittany the Curious. And, you know, stay curious, stay wanting to learn and absorb knowledge and follow me. I have some funny things and some knowledgeable stuff on there. So Brittany the Curious, you can find me on Instagram.
Awesome. Now, my final question is, so I have been watching the show this season really closely. Why did the red team put you up for elimination? I totally don't get it. Like, your dish was good, and I'm like, huh? Well, Brittany shouldn't have been up there. Why?
You know, I've been trying to figure this out now and when we were filming. And I still don't get it. I watch back and, you know, sure, you can say I got a good, you know, they've done a, you know, I look pretty, I kind of look Mother Teresa, really. I look like such a, that I call my mom after every episode and I'm like, Mom, it really makes me look like super sweet right now. She's like, that's because you are. And I was like, yeah, I was looking for it to be like kind of edgy, you know?
Yeah.
But but to answer your question, yeah, you know, because I didn't come into the world, which is why I gave the advice I gave, the way everyone else there did. I never worked on the line before. I became an executive chef and I own my own business and I've done so many other things career-wise that for some reason that put like a target on my back. And I was more so thought whenever we all told each other our background that it was so we could like rally together. Because that's how I looked at the show. Like, hey, let's rally together. Let's all get to the finish line. Then let's go after each other. But it was hard for people as soon as I'm used to this, to be honest with you. And for some reason, when we do more than one thing, we become less, I don't know, like, let me give you a really weird analogy just so I can land the plane. Like Jake Paul, this is relevant because the fight was last night. And you know, you follow me, so I'm a fan. So it's so interesting when they introduced Mike Tyson, they introduced him as this legendary boxer, which is true, right? But he also does a lot of other things. He has a lot of businesses, a lot of other sources of income. They don't mention any of that. Why? It's because for some reason, we still, as a society, place value on people having one career, doctor, lawyer, chef, you know, and that for some reason, if we don't only focus on that one thing, that makes us less than in that area. And this is the impression that I got from my fellow castmates at first. Now, mind you, I'm friends with them and a lot of them love me and I love them. And all is good now. But last night at the fight, then they introduced Jake Paul and they're like podcaster and this and that and this. And I thought, oh my God, my people, I'm so happy that someone like Jake Paul exists because it shows that whether you want to think the fight was rigged or whatever, the bottom line is he is a good boxer.
Right.
And people don't take him seriously as a boxer because why? Because he did this thing. And so that's what I have been dealing with most of my life. People don't take me seriously in one role. And that just kind of trickled throughout the show. To be honest with you, that they're not showing it a lot, but that was a big theme. You know, for me, my feeling there was I was constantly, and I was so confused. I'm like, wait a minute. At that point, I had scored in every competition. I hadn't made any major issues.
Exactly.
Like they were just not a fan of the fact that I didn't have as much experience on the line, you know. And now I will say there's something they haven't really shown. I know that some of my castmates felt like they had to kind of guide me through the stations, but I just have some memory issues. So sometimes it would be difficult to like learn it that fast. And I know that can be frustrating. So in their defense, I think that like they're so used to being on the line and being able to like just jump in. And I'm one of those people that I need to know everything.
Right. So like
once I know it, I'm better than most people. But I need that time. Let me absorb. And I know that on the blue team, he really feels that Joe said something very similar. He was like, look, I can't just be like thrown in here and then expect me to want to lead right away. Because I don't think a good leader does that. And that's another thing. Like, for instance, on the station that I was with Hannah a few weeks back, she made a statement that said, or someone, they were like, oh, you know, I feel like I've had to check her meat 3-4. Remember that episode?
I do remember that episode. Yep.
The way it's perceived and the way that it seemed to them was that, oh, she's not confident. And it's like, no, in my opinion, the kind of leader that I am, I'm working on a team. It was Hannah and me. The kind of leader I am says to me, we're working together. And I don't want to send anything up there that both of us, because if you look at all the other episodes, that's where they messed up. They weren't asking for the checks. So sure, I was checking 3, 4, 40, 500 times. Why? Not because I'm unconfident, not because I don't know what I'm doing. By the way, have you noticed I haven't undercooked or overcooked anything, minus the pizza.
Yeah. Right.
We're gonna say that was for TV. It wasn't, but we will. And yeah, but that's why I did that. And I think they took those moments as me being unconfident rather than looking at it as I'm just trying to make sure we're all working as a unit. And of course there was nerves and those things. So I'm not saying I was 100%. No one comes right out of a divorce and is like, you know what, I feel great about myself and I just can't wait to crush it. But I tried.
Right. You gotta like slowly take baby steps into
Yeah, and I think I really wanted to prove to like my family, because I think people have a misconception about me that I'm like hot-headed, and even my dad is like, oh, you seem like just not as big personality. I'm like, well, A, I was going through a hard time, but B, I'm not this hothead that you think I am. I'm actually like, in my opinion, I consider myself one of the normal ones in that way, and I'm not a hothead, and I love bringing people up. I don't like dragging people down ever.
right, empowering other people to
I
encourage.
like to build people up, and I like when someone's better than me. I freaking love it. I mean, there's a few people on the show that I knew immediately were better than me. And I was like, you're going to be my friend, and you're going to be my friend. And Gordon, you're going to be my friend. Because why? Not to attach myself to people that were better than me, to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
that's what I was doing the whole time in the whole show. I was learning. And I feel like so many people are so much like, I already know I'm the best. Oh my God, trust me. No one here is better than me. It's not true. And also food is very fluid. I can
Yeah.
make a really great meal today and you can make a better meal tomorrow. And that can keep going, so.
I love that we brought this up, Brittany, because you're absolutely 100% right. Like some of us go into an industry and just, 'cause I do want to touch base on how some of us are really multifaceted and we're multi-talented. I'm also multi-talented, and I saw that you did some writing, you did some directing and producing. Like were these short films or were they films, features? Like I'd love to dive into that if you have some time to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, it's always hard on food interviews because really to be fully, when people are like, oh, have you always wanted to be a chef? It's no, I haven't. I've always wanted to be a writer. I mean, since I can remember, that's like the thing that pains me the most. And I was really close. And then, but food, that's the hard part. They battle each other because I love food. And so I finally realized if I could bring them together, maybe that's the clincher. But so my background is actually in commercials. I wrote, directed, and produced commercials for about 6.5 years. I moved from LA to New York to Dallas for that job. And then on the side, I had my private chef business, and I was just making extra money from food photography, food styling. And I got that job from being a food stylist on a set. And that's what I mean about like working your way into an industry, maybe the opposite, because it wasn't that it got handed to me. It's like if I would have never taken the risk to start my own business, I would have never been able to do that.
Exactly.
And that's just how it goes, right? And so I was a writer, director, producer. I've produced over about 10,000 commercials, primarily regional, local. My dream, though, is I write music as well. My dream is to write a musical. And I moved to Alaska to actually pursue that dream. And so now I'm hoping to find a place where I can both cook, share good food with good people, right? Very much in that eat, pray, love period of my like cooking life, And I ran my own business, that was a big part of my life. I lost it 2.5 years ago. And ever since I've just been finding my way, finding my place.
I think that's so amazing, Brittany, and I really hope you do get to do your musical. I'd love to see like a cooking musical. Or
I know. See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we should do some. right? There's
Right.
not a musical with cooking. Yeah.
Right. And I relate to what you said because I'm also very multifaceted. Like podcasting is one of my other passions, and I've been blending food into photography. And well, I started out as a photographer, and I kind of borrowed into filmmaking and doing writing, directing, producing myself.
Mhm. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so if you want to team up on something, please do let me know. We can work together and produce some stuff together for you.
I would love to. I give all this great advice, and then I've had writer's block for 6 years. So,
Well,
um,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, and yeah, I think it's just a subject that's not from your podcast perspective, outside of the food show stuff. I think it's just something that we don't talk about too much because I remember when I owned my business, people would ask me, "Oh, is this all that you do?" And that used to offend me, not for the reason we're talking about now. It used to offend me because I'm like, yeah, I do this full time. Like, this is how I make my money.
Right.
But now I look back at that phrase and it makes me more angry because I'm like, why do we have to just, I've been ashamed of, in a lot of ways, I've dealt with that shame of feeling so different from other people because I have all these things going on, but I don't think it makes you like you. Same thing for you, right? Like, if anything, it makes you a better podcaster. This is what drives me crazy. If anything, I'm a better chef because of working in multiple industries, dealing with multiple people, and at the same time, always still cooking, always still learning, always still eating. Clearly, always still eating. But like, I'm just absorbing knowledge and knowledge over many and many years, living here, living there. But then when people hear that, they think, oh, this girl's all over the place. Or maybe it brings out some sort of inner struggle of maybe things people haven't accomplished themselves. Who really knows?
Exactly.
But it's still, if you understand, then it's nice to talk to someone like that because it's a subject that's not talked about a lot because I think there's a lot of people that are very much one thing. And I'm not taking away from everyone's hobbies, but
Yeah, I know in the virtual world it's so different, right?
yep.
Very timely with virtual stuff. I think we kind of cut off of you were talking about something and you were kind of at the end and we were just about to wrap up. So
Yeah.
what was it that we were talking about just now?
I don't even know. But
I
live
think
your dreams. I'm kidding.
yes, we were actually talking about dreams and kind of going after like whatever it is that you're trying to pursue, passions and different things, but you'll always be a chef at the end of the day. That's what we were talking about, like like the dreams of not doing multiple streams of income, that type of thing. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's a good way to wrap that up. It's just like you don't have to be one thing, but if you are one thing, that also is not less than. And if you're more than one thing, just whatever you are, be proud of it and don't let other people discourage you because you don't fit the mold. That's my PSA for today.
Exactly. I love it. So I do want to thank you so much for joining me today on Spice Up Got Up podcast. This has been such a great episode to get to know you and talk to you. And you can find the show anywhere on all platforms, wherever podcast is found. And I really hope people will download your episode today and feel inspired by you and reach out to you. And to all my followers listening, please follow Brittany. She is phenomenal. Brittany the Curious, right? On Instagram.
Brittany the Curious, yes.
What's one thing you guys got going on for today? Because you said you're going to New York today?
Yeah, I'm going to New York City tonight. I'm so excited. I'm going to be staying in the Gramercy Park area. So I'm really pumped. I'm going to go to a couple good restaurants, going to Rosadora, which I've heard really wonderful things about. I finally got on the list today. I just got the notifications of when I travel, I just want to try good food. I like to meet different chefs and different people and get re-inspired and get a little bit of winter since I'm here in Texas where it's not.
Hopefully.
And I apologize, I'm losing my voice. So
hopefully they have winter there. And then if you would like to, I can make a recommendation. Have you been to Have you been to Little Italy over there in Soho?
Yeah, is there a specific place you like?
Yeah, so there's a pizzeria over there. It's in a, if I remember, it's on my Instagram, I think. It's in a corner somewhere, and it's off by, let me see. If you're going into when you get to Soho and you kind of go into that neighborhood, it's a nice little cafe. You can sit down. Hopefully, I hope they're open. They were
You
open in the
gotta send
summer.
it to me. Yeah, find
Yeah,
it and send it to me.
I'll send you one of my fun spots over
I
there.
will go. I will go. Anyone that has recommendations, send them my way. I'm one of those people, you're not going to waste your time on the wreck. I'll make it there, even for my.
I love it. Well, thank you again so much, and I wish you the best in this competition because you're in the top 10. Oh my gosh, the
I'm
top.
in the top 10. We made it, girl. We made it.
Woo! Let's go, let's go.
I haven't whooped so much than right now, but I don't know. Something about your energy is giving me,
Well, I love it. And so, yes, please do keep in touch with me and
Well, you're going to send
how
me
you
the link and everything. So we'll share it with the world, darling.
Yes, absolutely. Do you mind if I take a quick screenshot and then I can
go
share it? Let me see if I can I'm terrible at multitasking. That's one thing I'm learning how to do as an entrepreneur.
Well, it's good. They say that actually none of us have the capacity to do it. So if you can do it a little bit, you're ahead of the game.
Exactly. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Does it go? Did it go? All right. Oh, here we go. No, it didn't. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Did it? See it? I'm bad at this screen sheet. Yeah, let's see. Try it one more time. 3, 2, 1. I can take a couple. Oh, if I could capture. There we go. I got it. Well, thank you so much again, Brittany. And yes,
Thank
we
you so
will
much.
stay in touch. I'd love to.
When does it go live, the podcast?
I usually go live on Fridays normally, and I upload it to YouTube. So I'll send you the final product on YouTube. I'm gonna do a little bit of a special intro for you. So if you have any like special videos you want to use or anything you want to send me, I'll
Can you send me a reminder tomorrow or today and I'll get over to you?